We arrived to the carnival and saw that it was full of interesting attractions. They consisted of the merry-go-rounds, a haunted house, a tilt-a-whirl, a Ferris wheel, a fun house, bumper cars, a gravitron, kamikaze pendulum ride, and a freefall drop tower. The games did look fun to try, but have a reputation of being rigged. It was slightly chilly in the air, and leaves wafted on the breeze, as lively circus music played from loudspeakers about the vicinity. People of all types were dressed in either elaborate or simple costumes. We were grateful to wear jackets for the occasion after paying for tickets at the admittance booth. Leslie dragged Ben to the Tunnel of Love ride immediately, and I could only chuckle with amusement.
So, I'm guessing that they're a couple now?
Yes, and I feel like I'm their Cupid.
Angels tend to do that sort of thing, little one.
I guess I'm following my heritage without realizing it? I asked, a sheepish grin present. He chuckled warmly, patted my head, and said,
Yeah, you are. Come on, let's have a little fun for old time's sake, yeah?
Sure, Grandpa.
Could we have a ride upon the pendulum as a trio?
Arthur asked while floating about in orb form.
Fine. But do not get handsy with her. You understand? You have my word as a gentleman, good sir.
The three of us came to the kamikaze ride, and after 15 minutes of waiting, we eventually boarded onto the caged boat. Once we were strapped into seats and secured by the cage, the ride began to swing back and forth. I screamed and hollered by the sheer thrill of being lifted and flung about 70 feet in the air. It was exhilarating. It felt like I was flying in the air for that moment.
I feel sick. Get me off of this thing. No, but this is what I experience upon flying very long distances, good sir.
What a rush! This is awesome! I shouted while laughing and enjoying the surge of adrenaline. When the pendulum rose again, I happened to notice a very realistic walking corpse waving at us and doing the devil horn sign with each outstretched hand, pointer and pinky fingers being shown. It was a menacing aura I had seen from this being. Did you see that? I asked quickly.
Yes, I did. And on cue, I may add. You have no reason to worry, Lenore, as you are safe with us in our presence.
I'm more concerned with him hurting other people here.
Then it would appear that you are the knight, as the tarot card had said.
The pendulum eventually came to a stop, and we exited the boat patiently, along with the other people to depart before us. To our relief, the corpse was nowhere to be seen.
It appears that she is toying with us. Well, that is nothing new.
Do you think we could find one of the keys here? I asked. He pondered for a moment while scratching his chin and said,
I'd say probably the criminals are always on guard at the scene of the crime, so start there.
I looked about and saw a silver sparkle from under the fence that surrounded the ride, kneeling down to discover that it is a key with the same star design from the crate's key.
Oh, by jingo, she has found the first key!
Arthur exclaimed excitedly. We heard Leslie call out to us.
Hey, Thoughts! I think we've found something. Is this one of the keys you was looking for?
Turning to my right, Leslie and Ben ran to us while showing an identical key on Leslie's palm. Yes, that's it! I exclaimed happily.
Shit. Alright. So, now we need the last key. And... fuck. This is gonna be a hard one to find.
I began to ponder and thought about Agnes as a person and said, she always liked to scare and have power over victims from what I've seen from her. Do you think that the last key could be in a haunted house or in the fun house full of mirrors?
Hey, wait a minute there. My detective skills passed on to you. You may be onto something there. Well, from what we know, She seems to be a vain bitch, so, the fun house is probably likely. Let's go there. I could taunt her if she's around or anything like that, so that way she has a bit of a distraction. It appears that she does not have a liking towards competition. I am certain of that factoid. You got a crazy ex-girlfriend there on your hands. Sorry about that, but she's a crazy bitch, so, I don't know how you deal with that shit. But it seems to appear that my new partner is far better than my previous one, I may add, my effeminate fellow.
Arthur said affectionately, resting himself on top of my head, well, in orb form. I could not help but blush while we headed to the fun house. Strangely, there had been no line in front of the fun house, and we entered inside the mirrored maze. As soon as we entered inside, we were grabbed by costumed people dressed as harlequins and thrown into individual chambers. "Let us out of here!" I shouted while pounding on the door. "Oh, you all figured out my secret. How clever," Agnes's voice remarked.
Hey, you stupid fucking bitch. You lost your looks a century ago. Get the fuck over it already.
"Shut up, I'm a mature beauty," she said in defense. "But you're immature and psychotic enough to kill your ex-boyfriend and curse the people he loves? All because you did not get your way? That's fucking sick, you know," I said in a matter-of-fact tone. "You're a byproduct of lust, little girl," she said firmly.
No, you are very incorrect within that. Because you had murdered me before I could pass on any of my genes, you fool.
Artie?
Fuck! The chambers have shock pads. Don't move, everyone.
I breathed slowly, collecting my wits, and began to sing the song Fly Me to the Moon. Agnes screamed hysterically. "Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Stop singing, you little shut up!" Other cult members began to screech in agony, and I heard audible thumps upon the floor. Grandpa began to sing with me, as the rest of us joined me in the song. Agnes cried heavily and blubbered out, "You were supposed to marry me so we could bring Fred Sandor into this world with our baby."
It was simply an obligation, and it is not true love. An angel in the flesh has been sent to me twice already to stop you. Your campaign of terror ends here, Agnes Richardson.
We heard her gasp for air, and followed by loud choking, then a thump on the floor. Moments later, we were released from our chambers after he unlocked the doors.
The final key was around her neck. I choked her, but her spirit would emerge eventually. We have to fight her again soon.
"If you had a body, I would hug and kiss you right now," I said dreamily. He smiled at me and said,
"A wish will be granted far sooner than you think, my dear."
We rushed out of the funhouse, and to our horror there were ghosts attacking the patrons on the fairgrounds. Dolls became mobile and shouted talents. The ride started to fall apart and have machinery careening from the bounds.
We gotta help them. We can help them. But we also need to erase their memories afterwards.
I had to pause in awe as I saw white angel wings emerge from his back. He pointed to me and said,
"Huh. So yours are coming out. Finally!"
I looked about in confusion and felt strange tugs on my back, then noticed large white wings flap forward in front of me. How come they have never appeared until now? I asked, confused.
Well, the reason for it not happening yet is because you have not awakened. And now you have. Understand?
Ben's wings emerged and appeared as a black bat's. It is to be expected since he is a demon. What caught me off guard that Leslie had wings, only it was neither from a bird or a bat. They were a pair of butterfly wings that were black and white. "You're demi-human?" I exclaimed.
I knew you had something special about you, Les. I'm a real fairy now? Holy fuck, this is great news!
It explains how you affect people and being a fairy godmother to me, I said affectionately. Leslie blushed brightly as his wings fluttered. A Ferris wheel began to roll towards us.
All right, everyone. We have to fly to the top and kick it to a stop. Hey, that rhymed.
We flew to the wheel in a synchronized fashion, hovering in the air, lifting both legs to kick each spoke back, and slowly bringing it to a halt. Luckily, there had been no one on the ride. A ghost, whom I must assume was the younger version of Agnes, zoomed towards us. "You're not supposed to be here. I kept those girls under control, and now I am dead. They are running wild," she said angrily. I began to think quickly and called out to the spirits. "Hey, ghosts! Here's your true culprit who kept you enslaved for so long!" Grandpa whispered to me.
Keep her distracted, Sunshine. I have a plan.
I nodded to him as Ben and Leslie called to the other ghosts to have their revenge on Agnes. While we yelled more insults at her, a net of white light emerged from Grandpa's hands to ensnare her. She struggled while cursing, which only made the net more constrictive.
Lenore, I need you to say this. From east to west, take the souls to where they are best. Open the gate to eternal rest.
I repeated the words, and he recited them in sync with my own. A swirling purple vortex emerged, and we lured and heard the ghosts inside the portal from every angle.
Now say welcome home.
We both said the phrase together, having the vortex shrink and fade into the ether. The next step had sounded simple, but he told us to fly about and shout the phrase, "Forget what you saw."
So, what the hell's supposed to happen after that? You will see.
We looked to each other, shrugged, and rose into the air. The phrase had been yelled by us, and we see the crowds have stupefied expressions on their faces, followed by cameras and phones malfunctioning and emitting sparks and battery acid. Once we returned to the ground, Arthur said,
We are not finished yet. The old family home is about a mile away from here. We need to unlock the vault that is inside. Well then, by all means, skinny man, lead the way. We still have a score to settle.
We followed his gray, misty body from the fairgrounds and towards the house in the forest by our wings. It was an invigorating sensation while rushing through the air in the night sky. The moment was enough to question reality, abandoning logic just for that moment and having a joy I never experienced before. It surpassed the pendulum by a long shot.
This is the best Halloween ever. So far. You know, for once, I am having fun.
Me too, I added. We arrived to the dilapidated two-story house surrounded by trees, and the full moon shone upon the heap of wood and brick quite well. It was small, with a porch covered by an awning. The house seemed to form a face that resembled a menacing scowl, as though it were sentient and forbidding to enter inside.
You have to stick with me, Sunshine. I have more experience than you do.
I have some experience in exploration and fighting.
Bad girl. It's too late now, alright? Well, look at us like this, Silver Fox. At least we got him back, so you don't got away all that much. There are 3 locks to undo in the vault's basement, but there is a challenge to face. It is a riddle for the Sphinx who guards it. Oh, wait a minute. You mean the lions with the people's heads over there? Yes, that is correct, my effeminate fellow. If you answer her riddle, she will undo the curse.
We'll just have to face this head on.
Well, that's right, and, you know, we have come this far, and we can't just turn back now.
The 5 of us entered the home and saw the graffiti had defaced the interior, mostly full of cryptic messages in order to prank explorers. The floor had been covered in trash and smelled musty. No furniture had been present. Leslie hid behind Ben, quivering a bit while I walked between Arthur and Grandpa. We used the tiny lights from our cell phones to navigate through the dark.
Here's the basement door.
Pointing to a threshold with an open door. Briefly glancing at it, we saw how the staircase led into a downward descent into the dark basement. Spiderwebs hung over the threshold.
Nope. I ain't going down there. No fucking way. Then you should just stay behind me, Fraidy Fairy. Okay.
Leslie said meekly, and stayed behind him. Grandpa and Arthur took the lead, myself had followed, while Ben and Leslie were in tow. Our lights illuminated the doors that were in a line, having the keyholes in their knobs.
The locks need to be unlocked at the same time.
Leslie, Ben, and I took up the keys, and we unlocked the doors after the count of 3. There had been metal boxes that sat on the floor of each individual pace. A heavy wind had been blown upon us, and we glanced upwards to see the Sphinx hovering from above. I am inside of you. I have been passed from one generation to the next. I keep you warm. I keep you safe from disease. I decide who you are and what you look like. I am so important, yet people are afraid of the sight of me. What am I? She asked.
Is it a god or something?
No, allow the demon boy to answer.
Is it wisdom or genes?
No, let the angel girl to answer. If she gets it wrong, then I eat all of you, the Sphinx said. The 4 of them urged me to come up with an answer to this complex riddle. I pondered while closing my eyes. Then I thought of the clues, but had thought of blood. It had done those very things. Taking a deep breath, I exhaled and said slowly, Is it blood? The Sphinx roared in anger, which caused us to be scared for a moment. I have been bitten by another female. This is not fair. She yelled. By unknown means, which I could assume was by telekinesis, the box hovered and were thrown across the room, thereby smashing them open. What happened next shocked me and be filled with intense happiness. Beams of light shone from the boxes and enveloped Arthur, having his gray misty form be solidified into flesh. We were shocked by this transformation and could not process this event as reality.
I am free. I am free. I am finally free at last.
He is alive? We said in unison in disbelief. I got snatched up by Arthur, spun about while laughing, and held bridal style in his arms. Am I dreaming? I exclaimed.
Oh, no, you are fully awake, my dear. I have wanted to do that for the longest time now.
I wanted to do this too, I said softly, kissing him upon the lips while holding his cheeks.
Hey! Get a room, lovebirds. Seriously. Shall I carry you to the caravan, my dear?
Sure, why not? I said while chuckling. I allowed him to carry myself upstairs and exit the house, even helping him unlock the camper door.
I suppose in some manners I do owe you and your friends a debt of gratitude. I wish to live with you, Lenore, without the wicked witch to separate us again,
he said while settling me to sit at the dining table. Yes, I would love that. I'm still processing this as real and not some fairy tale dream. It's all so surreally beautiful. I never thought something like this could happen to me, I stammered while being astonished. His hand pushed aside my hair to lean closer to my face.
You are so logical that it is rather endearing. How you dismissed emotional claims with your detective mind, and yet your powers of deduction fail. To see how special and extraordinary you truly are, my dear,
he said softly, using the back of his knuckles to stroke my cheek. And you keep on flustering me senseless, though. I would not mind you teach me lessons on that, I said slowly with burning cheeks.
You are beginning to invite my affections and passed the first lesson already, darling. Oh, very well. I shall school you, as the humans say now. Are you leaving the hermit lifestyle behind?
I see no reason for doing that anymore. There is more to look forward to other than just live on paycheck to paycheck. It's not every day to have someone like you waltz into my life and help me like you did for the past week. Let's see how the relationship goes. Responding to his question with a smile, his eyes blinked and seemed to be stunned by my words and said,
I am so happy to hear those words from you.
A few tears rolled down from his cheeks, clutching my jaw to kiss me strongly upon the lips.
Let us go home together,
he said, and hugged me close.